All right, welcome back to the episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. As always, Keith, Chris, and Alex. Adam is out tonight. Tonight we're going to get into a discussion about the 2022 fantasy football all-bust team. So basically, we're just going to go over who we think was the worst players in the NFL this year for fantasy-wise. But before we get into that, make sure you're liking, dropping a like on the videos and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us a lot. It helps us out a lot. It helps us grow the family. We're doing great. We really appreciate all you guys joining us and helping us out. So jumping into this, obviously this year, I think the worst quarterback has to be Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
To go from a top 5 quarterback the last 5-6 years, or more even, to being what he was this year.
I mean, Tom Brady ain't done great either. So.
Tom Brady's done a hell of a lot better than Russell Wilson. How many touchdowns does Russell have?
Probably 7.
I just compared the two in fantasy in like one of my leagues, and Brady is, by the stats, better than Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell's got 11 touchdowns. Not even as many bathrooms as he has in his house.
And how many interceptions does he have?
6.
Yeah. No, that's better than what I thought.
Nobody going to react to the fact that Russell Wilson has 12 bathrooms in his house? Yeah, 20.
The man just got paid $250 million.
20-7 for Tom Brady, so I guess he has technically done better, yes.
Yeah.
But
So moving on to the next position, we got the running back positions. Who do you guys think was the biggest bust this year? And then I'll go based off of what we got here from.
As a personal fan of it, I think, and I'm not blaming him much at all, but Najee Harris definitely was a big letdown.
yeah.
I truly believe it was just poor playing by the offensive line this year.
Yeah.
Horrible scheming. Some coaching changes need to happen. I think it's just accumulation of things. But in a sense of his production from last year to this year, you have to acknowledge that there was a significant drop off.
Yeah. Actually, Najee Harris is one of the running backs on here, so I would agree with that too. I mean, having him last year and having him this year, last year he definitely was a lot more productive than he is this year.
I do think the biggest drop off, though, the biggest disappointment would be Jonathan Taylor, though.
He's the number one running back
He's the number one running back. Because you go from being the number one running back last year to this year being like probably the bottom half, maybe?
Oh, he's bottom half.
Bottom half for sure.
I mean, he's getting ready to spend the whole rest of the season on the IR.
This is
He's
the second
already
season on the IR, right?
4 weeks on the IR.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to take him at 2, right? He fell to me at 2.
You have to take him.
Yeah, because Bubba took Najee at first.
Yeah. So you got to take him at 2. This is hard. I guess like James Conner's been a disappointment this year, being the sole back in Arizona. Like I think.
Yeah. I was kind of nervous that he was actually going to have like a blowout year.
Yeah, coming off a 14 touchdown season last year, he's been a little bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, because Chase got him all the way down there, and then he just punched it in.
Yeah, pretty much.
So moving on to wide receivers, I think, and I have to agree with the list here, the biggest bust, one of the biggest busts that I would agree with would be Allen Robinson going to the Rams.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
I mean, he was supposed to go in and replace Robert Woods and be this huge target for Matthew Stafford.
Robert
Woods with an electric offense that's already coming off a Super Bowl victory.
Robert Woods has been a bust for himself in Tennessee. Going and taking that money, trying to.
Another one that I think is a real bust is Granny's coming off a major injury was Juju going to Kansas City.
Yeah,
he's had some pretty good games, but yeah, I mean he's not been what he was in Pittsburgh before he got hurt.
Yeah, he's been such a system wide receiver. Like it's not, the offense is almost like not built around him. Mm-hmm. It's just when he's running a specific route in this pattern on this play, he's going to be open, and that's where the ball's going. Right.
That offense is centered around Travis Kelce. Let's
So.
But
man, there's a couple of honestly, St. Brown for the Detroit.
St. Brown. Yeah,
he had such a great ending to his season last year. Like his final 6
weeks. He's had some pretty good games though, but
he's had some good games.
He's not been up there like he was last year.
But there's no consistency to him this year. It's crazy. It's like he'll put up 1 and he'll put up 36.
Right.
So I think he's been a little bit of a bust. DK's been spotty for sure. I don't think Terry McLaurin has really lived up to the season that he could have or should have had.
What do you think? So another name on this list is Brandon Cooks. What do you think about Brandon Cooks? I would feel like he had a lot of
very disappointing.
A lot of potential and a lot of buzz around him and going into the trade deadline this year.
He did the same thing this year that he did last year, where he was out the gates hot for like the first 4 weeks. but instead of consistently doing it like he did last year, he fell off after like 4 weeks in.
Yeah.
I know another one that I loved going into the draft was Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen has not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
if he's getting,
that's sort of the Justin Jefferson show, though.
yeah, but I mean, if Adam Thielen's getting 12 points, it's because he caught a touchdown. Like that's
Yeah, I know. I traded
that's
for him.
the
Trust
only
me, I
reason
know.
he's getting into double digits. So
I know.
that's
I
another
know.
one that I think. Michael Gallup hasn't been healthy, and nobody's really helped anybody in Dallas outside of CD.
Well, CD's been the major component in that passing game.
Yeah.
I mean, because Dalton Schultz hasn't even been that great.
Ooh,
I mean,
Traylon Burks is another one. Tennessee
Yeah,
spent
he's
that
been- he's been up and
Tennessee
down.
traded AJ Brown to get that first round draft pick to then draft
Traylon Burks, and he's not even
and-
been that great. He's
Yeah.
been hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Alex, another good name on this list, be near and dear to your heart, even though you traded him, was Claypool.
Jay Claypool was a big letdown this year.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
a big letdown.
Yeah.
That's why it was so easy for Pittsburgh just to trade him. And
Yeah,
move
just
on.
let him go.
Yeah.
Hell, he's even been a letdown in Chicago.
Yeah.
You get traded to Chicago to be
Who
the
has
guy, and-
nobody outside
yeah.
of Darnell Mooney?
And St. Brown, Equanimous St.
Oh
Brown.
yeah, the brother to the
Yeah.
other one. Yeah.
And it's honestly like it was going to be problematic for Pittsburgh because he was going to want more money coming up, and it was just more of he's got a big personality,
Yeah.
and it's just one of those things where you can't have too many big personalities in the same receiver room.
I mean, he's got big play potential too. It's
Yeah.
just he's not living up to what he
Yeah. And
what
the part that kills me is like how big and physical he could be. That he could straight up body all the defenders.
I mean, he's 6'4", right?
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
Tight ends they have on this list Felipe Franks.
Darren Waller.
Darren Waller is a huge
has
bust.
been a huge bust as the guy that I drafted.
Well, they paid him all that
Oh
money.
my
last
God.
year?
Yeah,
he hasn't done anything.
He's been healthy.
I
maybe
don't
40
think this guy that I'm about to say is a big bust, but he has to be in the bust category. It's Kyle Pitts still.
Yes, absolutely.
I would agree with that.
That's a huge bust.
Kyle Pitts has been a huge
bust.
bust.
Yeah.
To
Oh
take
my
him
God.
4th overall in the draft last year.
Yeah.
Now last year it was a little slow start, but I think he had a better year last year under Matt Ryan than he's had this year with.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, now
He-
it's Desmond Ridder because he's starting now.
Oh dear God, I don't
So-
know there. But I mean, I think looking at it, Kyle Pitts had more catches and yards last season with 1 touchdown. This year he had a couple more touchdowns, but I mean, goodness, it's still to take the highest drafted tight end ever at 4 overall.
Yeah.
Like this dude better be putting up Travis Kelce numbers next year, or he's just gonna go down as a bust.
Well,
Yeah.
his 5th year won't be picked up at all.
No,
So I mean, he'll go somewhere else, and hopefully in another system he might find them. But yeah, I mean that's a huge bust to go drafted 4th overall.
And it's one of those things too where like, if it's on the coordinator and whoever's this helping the coordinator come up with your scheme and your system. Eventually, at that point in time, you might have to look at those guys like, okay, are they just not scheming the right way for this guy?
yeah.
But I mean, Kyle's out there almost all the time. Like I find it hard
Yeah,
to
I mean
believe that
he's in on like
it's
every
not
play.
partial, it's not mostly his fault for like I don't know, either just not running the routes hard enough, not digging deep enough, and like I don't know. It was a big letdown this year in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Can you consider Mark Andrews a bust this year for only putting up like 60 catches, 700 yards, and 5 touchdowns?
I think that's more on the offense itself because Lamar's been hurt. You bring in Huntley.
Mark was out for 2 weeks too. So.
Well, yeah. But
I also think it's because Mark's also older now at this point in time.
Right. Yeah, he was out for 2 weeks.
I mean, he's
3
still
weeks.
one,
Sorry, 3 weeks.
I mean, he's still one of the top 4 tight ends.
He's third in fantasy points this year behind
And that's
TJ
just because of
Hawkinson and
touchdowns.
Travis
And
Kelce.
how old is
yeah.
Mark Andrews now though?
I mean, Mark has been in the league maybe 4 years now, 5 years. So he's born 95, so he's a year younger than us. He's 27.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, still 700 yards in the season for a tight end is very good for a tight
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
And that's on the high end. So
I mean, like if I'm thinking, if we look at his numbers, if we were to say, Pat Fairmouth got those numbers for Pittsburgh, like that's a good season for him.
that's a boom
Yeah.
for Pat.
Yeah.
That's a big move.
But for Mark Andrews, who's coming off like an 1,100 yard season and double-digit touchdown year, like
I would say it's a letdown. I wouldn't say it's a bust.
Yeah, I'm with Alex. I wouldn't classify it as a bust, but I would say it's a letdown.
how did that feel to read 1995 on an NFL player's bio?
So the last position was the flex position. The list that we looked off of had AJ Dillon listed as the biggest bust for flex this year.
Yeah, I mean, last night he looked pretty good with 2
He
touchdowns.
did look really good last night.
Yeah,
I mean, I think the problem with AJ Dillon is just him being an assistant behind Aaron Jones.
yeah.
You put him in another team in a where he's the lead runner. I mean he's a big guy. I think he could. He's not going to put up Derrick Henry numbers, but I think he could power over people like Derrick Henry can and does.
Yeah, he's starting to become just the goal line back for Green Bay. If you watch that game last night, and it's been happening for a couple of weeks. I mean, they get within the 5-yard line,
And
they
they
pull
hand it-
Aaron Jones
yeah.
out, and they put AJ Dillon in. Which why not put a 250-pound running back in?
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I would consider. I guess I consider him a bust. I'm not drafting AJ Dillon to be a flex. Honestly, I'm
definitely an RB2 or RB3.
Well, yeah, RB3 probably. I'm kind of drafting him to kind of handcuff whoever ends up losing Aaron Jones for injury. I know my biggest bust was the guy that I had circled. Garrett and I had it starred, exclamation pointed, underlined was
Anthony
Hunter.
Magri.
No, God, no.
Hunter
Renfro.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
Hunter
that was
Renfro's
the
been
guy
horrible this year.
Yeah, that was a guy that had like 100 catches and 1,000 yards last
He
year.
got like 113 balls last year.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been a huge
for
bust.
me, where he was lining up in the draft, I was like, man, I can get 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a quarterback, and I can draft that man
And
in my
you
flex.
can still get him in like the 8th round.
Yeah, and so I had that. Thankfully, I didn't get him, but oh my God, like.
He'd have it off your team.
Well, yeah, I mean, with the way Devontae Adams came in, and early it was a little bit of mixing in Mac Hollins, a little bit of mixing in Darren Waller, but man, by week 6,
Now it's just Devontae and Mac Hollins.
I mean, yeah, by week 6, Devontae Adams was getting 20 targets a game. So Hunter Renfrow for me surely was the big name I circled. I would say
Another. He's actually like a wide receiver too, but I could see people have him as a flex. Would be like Gabe Davis. I feel like he's had a bust year too.
yeah, Gabe Davis certainly has had a bust year.
I mean, no, I drafted him high in one of my other leagues just because
Well,
he was one of the best ones
everybody
there.
thought he was number 2 behind Stephon Diggs.
I couldn't remember his name for the life of me. That's why I had to look it up. But it was a guy that in our league, he fell well past like all my draft sheets said he would be at. And I think if you drafted him for like a flex, I think he'd been a great flex preseason.
Yeah.
Now, towards the end of the season, it was Cordell Patterson.
Oh,
Cordell
yes,
Patterson,
Cordell
yeah.
Patterson. Yeah, from the year that he had previously.
Last year.
But that's the change of the quarterback. Like, that's what people were hesitant about him. I know where your draft sheets were, but that's where people were hesitant about him was, could the guy get the same amount of targets? Not the handoffs, not the rushing yards, not the rushing
Right,
touchdowns.
yeah.
But the way that they used Cordell Patterson, the way San Fran used Debo Samuels last year, can I use him in that hybrid, wide back kind of situation? And how many targets did he even get this year? He got 19 targets for 12 catches this year.
And when you have a receiving back, that makes a huge difference in their fantasy production.
Oh God, yeah.
If anybody remembers like what Le'Veon Bell was like when Ben had Le'Veon in his prime, they were throwing him the ball all the time. Like, dude was dropping close to 30 points almost games. Like,
between his catches and
if you have a running back that can do both, and then you stop throwing him the ball, you're going to see a lot of production fall off. And
Absolutely.
Even in real life in your actual offense. Like, I don't understand why you would do it.
I bet. Yeah, this man went from 69 targets and 52 catches to 19 and 12.
Yeah.
Take out the 500 yards and 5 touchdowns he didn't have this year in receptions.
Yeah.
Just targets and catches alone. So
Yeah.
I mean that again, probably not even Cordell's problem.
Hell, if you're in a PPR league, that's a huge fucking drop off.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's 50 points over the season that he's not getting.
Yeah.
That's the thing they think with Chris with Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah.
I mean, you go from 110 to what, 30?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Another guy that I just thought about when he was flipping through and I saw some names, Damian Harris for New England, a guy that was really
big body back,
really coming up, was supposed to be the starter, and then I mean the whispers of Stevenson replacing him. I mean Stevenson's
been great.
He took that job 10 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, he's been fantastic.
Damian Harris is irrelevant at this point.
Oh yeah, he'll probably be traded.
Another guy that I feel like I don't know if it's weird, just like it's hard to say bust. I would say more just disappointment or couldn't stay healthy. Just couldn't really. He had it going, and would lose it. Was Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara has not been great this year.
He's not been great this year either. I forgot about him. So
it was hard to bounce back from like injuries and stuff like that. Like
that's the tough thing about Drew Brees, man. Like that's
2 years ago he won me a championship, and the last 2 years he's not been able to do anything.
Drew was so willing to throw him the ball out of the backfield, like.
Drew was willing to throw for 6,000 yards. He didn't care who was catching it.
Throw it to Alvin. Throw it to Alvin.
Drew was just ready to catch. Drew was trying to reach 6,000 yards a season. He didn't care who was catching the ball.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was just dumping it off. He didn't care.
Yeah, I was.
He threw it to the tackle.
Yeah.
I was screaming that last year because Jameis Winston would rather throw a pick 20 yards down the field than dump it out to Kamara.
I mean, he's a 30-30 guy, man.
Yeah, so that's why I was screaming that shit last year. But I don't know. Did they have kickers or
They didn't have kickers on there.
Yeah, I mean Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker's been very down this year.
Yeah,
Surprisingly,
he's been down this year. I'm trying to think.
Young
who
Huku
else.
has been down too.
Young Huku. I mean, all the people that have kicked for the Chargers. Harrison Butker.
Harrison Butker's been one of the best kickers in the last.
Hey, what's
3-4 years?
Grandpa Suck Up doing?
Ryan's done okay.
Ryan's been doing good.
He's,
Yeah.
he's done about as good as you could probably expect.
How about Greg the
honestly.
Leg?
Is he on Social Security yet?
Oh, he should
Is
be.
Ryan on Social
He should
Security
be.
yet?
How about Greg the Leg? What's he doing?
Ryan Suckup was
Greg's another old head too.
Ryan Suckup was 3 head coaches at South Carolina ago.
Yeah.
Like that's the best way to put that.
Yeah.
12, 14 years ago.
Yeah. So wow, I didn't realize. So I was right. It was 100 catches and 1,000 yards. Hunter Renfrow 22 catches, 206 yards, and no touchdowns this year. Complete.
That's a
drop
big
off this
bust.
guy. Complete. Drop
That's a bust. Stamp it.
wow.
Sign,
That's
seal
bad.
it, deliver it.
Yeah, that's the worst flex play right there.
Wow. So
Because he's definitely not going to be your RB 1 or 2, or sorry, wide receiver 1 or 2.
How many touchdowns did you say? One?
none.
No.
None.
He went from 9. He went from 9 to none.
Wow. That's a bust. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going into defenses now. I see.
Yeah.
So
I was curious about defense.
actually, a really big
Oh.
bust of a defense this year.
Oh, it's clear. It's at the bottom of the league. It's clear.
Oh, the Rams.
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah, the Rams defense was a huge
Yeah,
fall
that's-
off.
that's the
Huge
bust. That's the
fall
bust.
off.
And actually, going into this season, everybody was so hyped, and we were too on Indy.
Yeah.
Indy was supposed to have like one of the premier defenses.
We all were. I think like all
Yeah,
of us had
we
different
all-
leagues where
we
we all
all-
took Indy in different
Yeah.
leagues that we weren't playing each
Right.
other.
Yeah.
I mean, they were supposed to have like the premier defense in their division because they were going to be the best team in their division.
And then I mean, it's such a crappy division. Like what you think about with Tennessee and Jacksonville and Houston.
In Houston, who's only won one game.
Yeah.
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 But they tied Indy to open the season.
Yeah. I don't know, but I mean, other busts. Cleveland, everybody was a little hyped on Cleveland.
Green Bay's defense has been
Green
been
Bay's
pretty
defense
bad,
has
too.
been disappointing.
Pittsburgh's was disappointing, but it was truly just because
J-
Watt,
TJ
TJ
was
Watt
out.
going down for damn
6-7 games.
Yeah, it was like 8 or 9 almost.
Yeah, I mean Pittsburgh is.
Yeah, and that was coming off the first game of the season too, right? When he tore his back.
Where is Pittsburgh?
Or
No, it was later. It was the overtime game.
Oh,
They tore it in overtime.
Pittsburgh's in the next 25. Damn, they're way down there.
Yeah. You know who was surprising me on defense this year? I just wasn't expecting it. Was the Vikings.
The
Yeah.
Vikings have played very good on defense.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
I was
Well, and actually, the Panthers have actually had a pretty decent defense for some of the points they've given up. I mean,
Yeah.
they commit turnovers, they get a lot of sacks. I mean, they've actually had a pretty decent defense.
Hell, the Colts got me 45 when they lost
and
the
you
most
still lost
historic
your,
comeback. Yeah.
and you lost your fantasy game
They
too.
still lost in fantasy games.
Chargers defense is another really disappointing one.
Yeah.
With Matt coming over there as an elite
Yeah,
pass
I
rusher,
know,
yeah.
to be second worst in fantasy this
The
year.
the Chargers have been. Well, that's what you just said, but yeah, the Chargers
Who was
have really
dead
been
last?
disappointing.
Chicago. Yeah, no surprise
Yeah,
there.
no surprise there.
And considering, like, what, 5 years ago, Chicago had the number 1 defense.
But
like,
Chicago traded 3 people away at the deadline. People were
Yeah.
so excited to get Roquan Smith and
Mhm.
and I'm trying to think of the other guy that got traded.
Oh, Leonard Floyd.
Leonard.
Or did he
not
leave? Did he
Floyd.
leave in free agency?
Leonard Floyd's been with the Rams. Robert Quinn.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the one that went to
Yeah.
Philly.
Yeah, Roquan
Philly's
Smith,
actually had a
Robert-
really good defense.
Philly's had a number 4
They
defense.
have.
Yeah.
Philly's had a fantastic. I mean, when you're 12-1, 13-1, you gotta have a good defense too.
Yeah. So,
But
all right. So, who is your ultimate bust of the year then?
for defenses,
No, just in general. Out of all.
Russell
of it.
Wilson.
Russell Wilson by far.
Oh, man.
He's the most visible lit down.
I mean, he's like I said to start this video. He was a top 5 quarterback for the last 6-7 years. I mean, all the points that he put up in Seattle to go from throwing for
I mean,
30,
if you took all the position players in the NFL, how many would be above him in touchdown counts?
a lot,
Oh.
a lot.
Yeah.
I think if you go to ESPN players, I think you can do it.
I could go to all offense
Touchdowns.
and touchdowns. Let's see. So he had, 11?
Jalen Hurts has more rushing touchdowns than he does.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts has more rushing touch. Oh, this is just.
That's just rushing.
So
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts has more rushing touchdowns than Russell has through the air.
Yes.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah. So total touchdowns. I mean, all of these quarterbacks are ahead of him.
Andy Dalton has more touchdowns than Jalen. Justin Fields has more touchdowns than
Yeah.
Russell
Wilson.
Davis Mills, Ryan Tannehill, Jacoby Brissett has more passing touchdowns.
Daniel Jones has more passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
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 Let's go see the elite talent he's tied with.
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew
Oh, no,
Stafford.
he's above
Carson
Matthew.
Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
Taylor Heineke has played 4 games.
He has
No,
and
he's
he's,
sorry, he's played a lot of games.
and he's got 10 touchdowns.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, I mean,
Russell Wilson's
he's got 25 quarterbacks in front of him this season alone in passing touchdowns. Rushing touchdowns, he's got 4 running backs. In receiving touchdowns, I'm gonna say 5. No, he's only got 2 in front of him. Devontae Adams and Travis Kelce have more receiving touchdowns than he has passing touchdowns. That's still
That's a lot.
atrociously bad.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I still think Hunter Renfrow has been an absolute bust. Jonathan
Allen
Taylor's
Robinson.
been an absolute bust. Allen Robinson.
Jonathan Taylor is almost like I feel like we need to just like split the award.
Yeah.
Like everyone gets their fair share.
Split it like 5 ways.
Yeah.
There's like 5 players.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys suck so bad enough you couldn't even get a whole
we
suck
can't
trophy.
have
You
one
can't
sucky
even
player.
get, you can't even
It's
get,
like this-
you can't even get I suck the worst trophy. You had to share it with somebody.
That's how bad you suck.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I went 6-8 without Jonathan Taylor half the season. So with Jonathan Taylor as the bust. So
I had Russell Wilson. You can see where that got me.
I'm just waiting for a league to give me 13 IR spots, okay? Because I need it. I need it.
yes, you do. Yes, you do, my friend.
Man.
So, all right. Well, hit us in the comments. Let us know who you think is the biggest fantasy football bust of this season. And as always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.